Oh, just a very quick video, just because I've got the time to do one. So yeah, Bitcoin's dropped down to our $10,000 area, which is what we were waiting for. So we've plopped down on this. We're looking at the daily chart now. We'll just go to a lower time frame. A 4 hourly will suggest to us that now we're underneath all these moving averages yet again. These areas proved to be too strong of a resistance and too hard to stay within that trend, and now our trend has crossed to the down after that huge fall yesterday. So we've plummeted more or less $900 now over a 24-hour period, within a 24-hour period, and it looks to me as though this death cross is going to start to play out. So we had this death cross here in the 4 hourly. We've now got a death cross over here as well on the simple moving averages. So the likelihood is that we've now come down to this level here. If we can see that there, that corresponds to these two candles here. Once that wick gets extended, it would be reasonable to assume that we'll go down to 9,800 and see if we can form a bounce at that point. But it's not looking too strong, to be honest with you. The entire market is completely worn out. We'll just have a look at the state of everything at the moment. It's all red, everything's coming down with Bitcoin. There's a few little bits and bobs here that are managing to stay on top, but only ever so slightly, and I would expect that they will all come down too. Really, everything is in the red, and the reason for that is that even though Bitcoin's coming down, everything else is coming down to it, and you can see the Bitcoin dominance is still at 68.9%, so almost 69%. That's very, very high. Bitcoin, despite its falling price, is still the dominant coin, and while that is the case, everything else will suffer alongside Bitcoin. Bitcoin making big falls, everything gets dragged down with it. Some will move a lot faster than Bitcoin, some might move roughly at the same speed, but very, very few will fall slower than Bitcoin, while that dominance is still high. What we really need to see is for Bitcoin to push up towards, when I'm talking about the dominance chart here, if Bitcoin can push itself up towards about 71 to 72% dominance, it'll probably find a top around that area and then start to decline again. And it's only when the dominance starts to decline significantly by about 3% or more consistently will we see bumps in alts, and it's a sweeping statement, but generally across the board that's what's likely to happen. At the moment, while the dominance chart is so high, the percentage is so high for Bitcoin, whatever Bitcoin does, all the other alts will do it too. And I say that in the negative respects, that when Bitcoin falls, all the other alts will fall with it. When Bitcoin climbs, the other alts will climb at a slower rate, and some might not even climb at all. So that is the nature of it, and that's how it's going to play out, and that's where it's going to go. So at the moment we're dancing around on the $10,000 area. That is the bottom of the Bollinger Band on the 4 hourly, but other than that there's no moving averages beneath us on the 4 hourly, so it would suggest that once that breaks, it will break and it will be extended to these wicks here, and that's 9,800, and again, you know, that's almost at the bottom of the Bollinger Band too, so it's reasonable to assume that we'll find bounces there. But over time, over the week, and depending on where we go, but over sort of a little more time, a few more days for instance, we could be making our way back into this blue box territory, the very low 9,000 area. But at the moment, you know, like I say, we're holding on that 10,000. That 10,000 is relatively strong, but only as a psychological figure. Realistically, it's 9,800 is the strongest point beneath this, and then we are, like I say, likely to come back down to test the inevitable areas of 9,200 to 9,000. And obviously, you know, I'm sure I'll make a video at that point or before or shortly after, but if that were to happen, then we'll talk about what's likely to take place afterwards. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, just a real quick video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.